Let's go, boys. Welcome to Challenge in 3. Today I'm playing LeBlanc. LB is currently busted. There's not much more to say about this champion except for that it's fucking broken and pretty complex to play, so let's jump straight into it. Firstly, make note this LB has a higher skill cap than pre-worked LB, so I definitely recommend playing at least 20 normal games with her so you don't terrorize solo queue for the first time, spamming your abilities and thinking you're gonna do damage, because you're not. Getting into LeBlanc's laning, start with your W, look for an auto attack, W, auto attack for a Thunderlord's trade. At level 2 you can start looking for the solo kills in your lane, especially if you're running Ignite. W into your enemy and wait the 1.5 seconds for the sigil to charge, and then you want to Q for the insane proc damage. Use a couple autos and an ignite to net yourself a really simple solo kill. For long range poke in the lane, you can Q the minion wave to proc the sigil on your opponent if you hit the minion line and your enemy with your W. At level 3 you can grab your E and you can W forward to easily land your chain and start autoing with the Q you weaved in between. These early levels are very strong and you should always be looking to grab a solo kill. Now getting into the specifics of LeBlanc, here are the best rune pages for versing AP and AD. Mastery page is very simple, so just copy this down and you won't have any problems. This is the ability order. Sometimes you can start with Q against champions like Zed or Cassiopeia, where if you start with W and try and trade, you might lose the trade. Some of the spells are all on preference, but I think in general teleport is the better choice, especially if you have a hard matchup like Ryze or Lissandra. However, for easy lanes like Twisted Fate, or if you have super aggro playstyle, Ignite will enable easy pre-level 6 kills. Build path is pretty confusing right now. A majority of LeBlancs are going to standard Morello into Abyssal or Ludens. However, the Lichbane build can be great fun and super effective when looking to snowball or poke enemy carriers with a simple combo and then auto attack. My preference, however, is the Morello build because of how reliable it is opposed to the Lichbane, which is great for snowballs and split pushing, but sometimes it just leaves you in a tight spot with less mana and cooldown reduction. Now that you grasp all the basics, let's get into some of the more complex things that LeBlanc's kit has to offer. Firstly are the basic combos for lane. The pre-6 combo is a W into E, followed by an auto attack and Q. This can usually burst the enemy and set yourself up for a kill. There are too many post-6 combos for me to cover, so I'm just going to go over the bread and butter to get you started. The first is a simple assassination combo with a W, E, Q, and then an RQ to finish them off. The basic wave clear combo is to W into the minion line, and then you want to wait 1.5 seconds for the sigil to charge, and then you want to Q to clear the wave. Next up is a more mobile combo. You want to start with your RW, then normal W, then an E, and finish with Q. A lot of people don't know this, but the RW actually does less damage than the actual standard W early on, so you want to use your ultimate to gap close unless you need the clone to confuse enemies like Syndra where she isn't sure who to ult. This CC combo is what I like to use in teamfights or if I need to stall for a couple more seconds for my jungler to come. You want to start with your W, E, Q, and then when your first E is almost up, you want to RE for another 1.5 seconds stun. If you're sitting in a brush and your opponents are running towards you, you want to start with your E to make sure you hit it. Then you want to use your Q, RQ, and then W to finish them off. An AoE combo is great for teamfights to spread damage if the enemy team is clumped together. Start with your W into the team and then RW on the spot. Blink back to your first W, then blink back to your RW and press Q to spread the sigil for the insane AoE damage. Now for some of the more fancy combos that is going to make your opponents contemplate their life for not banning LB. The first is called a fake return. So if you use your W to get away from an opponent, sometimes they'll think that you're going to W back into them close to them. You can actually RR to mimic a clone closest to them and they're going to blow all their summoners on it. Then you can actually blink back and blow them up. Remember that your RR clone can be a great scouting tool as well as summoner burner. If you want to check if the enemy is doing an objective, if the jungler is ganking, or if you want to fake a gank top lane to blow flash, your RR can do it all. The next fancy trick is forced pathing with your RR. For example, if your opponent is pushing in the mid lane, sit in one side of the mid lane brush, RR from the other side so your clone walks towards them, and watch them walk towards you away from the clone and you can just burst them with your combo. Lastly, your RR can be used to block abilities such as Jinx Ult or Elise Cocoon. This can be a clutch way to save your teammates or outplay your opponent. Okay, so for late game LeBlanc, you want to be split pushing and taking down towers and picking up solo kills, all the while looking to roam or TP flank to catch the enemy team by surprise. Teamfights you have two options, either peeling for your ADC with your chain, or flanking and looking for openings to do some damage and hopefully 100 to 0 one of their squishy members. You need to be really careful here, as one wrong move and you can explode against champions like Malzahar or Poppy. So sometimes pulling for the ADC early and then looking for the opening on the backline later in the teamfight is a better option. Thanks for watching, boys. I know it's a little bit longer than usual, but I really needed to cover everything that this kit had to offer.